I'll get you. You are organised.
Welcome back. If you've come back, if you ain't come back, then welcome. This is Ellie.
Hi.
So we met in February half term.
Yeah.
We filmed Brooke Trauma together. Well, the topic of today is friendships. There was this one girl, but she was just so manipulative. I was so scared of her not being my friend. Things where you weren't allowed to like wear your hair up for more than like a couple of days. But it was never spoken about. It was just like an unspoken rule that that's how it was. Else you would just be like, she would make up something about you, make up this rumour, and you had to wear makeup. And if you didn't wear makeup, then you were weird.
That's how like it's manipulative, because it's not like spoken about. You don't even realise it's happening at the time, because everyone's so like wrapped up in their own like bubbles and like things they're doing. It doesn't matter what others think. Just be yourself and be happy, and just like be friends with people who love you for like who you are. And
it has happened more recently where I've kind of been around someone and talking to someone that isn't necessarily the greatest person to have in your life. Ways of just like limiting the contact that you have with them.
Yeah, the friendship wasn't what it was at the beginning. It was more because obviously I was saying about the popularity, people going to different groups and people have different interests. And I think if you wanted to spot toxic friendship, I think it would be you're not happy with them. Like, don't change yourself to make them happy. Do what makes you happy.
I think as well with school, that's where it's kind of difficult, because you grow up with those people. Like,
yeah,
during your teenage years, like, you make mistakes and you're still trying to find out who you are and who you want to be. So I think that can cause people to clash.
They're not your real friends because they would want you for who you are. You don't need to change.
So and she said about boundary setting. So Pam, if you're watching, hello. Like, you want to be their friend, not their counsellor.
Yeah, exactly. And I think with boundaries as well, it's so hard to know, especially when you're making new friends and stuff. Like when you start secondary school, it's like, what boundaries do you set yourself?
The go-to person, if you're having a bad day, then that doesn't mean that their life is completely perfect. Like, they have their own problems that they're dealing with, even if they don't talk about it. I think that there's being a friend and there's kind of talking about things that they're struggling with, and that's absolutely fine. But then when it gets to a case where that's all that's spoken about, and it's kind of, there's nothing else apart from what they're going through, then I think that's when it gets kind of past that point. I remember, like, I keep talking about this girl, but she's a great example. But I remember it was like, if you didn't tell her everything, then it was like, don't you trust me? I thought you were my friend, kind of. So it's that kind of like manipulation kind of thing. But that's just not really me. I don't really do that. But there were a lot of things that I kind of said to this girl because I thought that if I didn't, then I'd lose her as a friend. And then it kind of got all around school.
They shouldn't have to make you feel like you have to be put under pressure to tell them, because you tell them if you're ready and whether you want to or not. I think a true friend will value that.
If someone's having a bad day, then they're having a bad day. It doesn't necessarily mean that there's this reason that's this gossip or whatever. Like, it could just be how they feel. And if you're a friend, then and if they don't want to talk about it, then you'll be there for them regardless.
Like, you can talk to your friends about how you're feeling and maybe what's happened, but then if you can't sort it out yourself, then don't expect your friend to.
If I have like something on my face, then I'll want people to tell me. But then there's a difference of just going up to someone and say, you know what, you look awful today.
You've got to understand why that person's hurt by it as well. Not just think about yourself, oh, I wouldn't care if that happened, oh, I don't mind. That might really hurt them as well.
If someone upsets you and then they say, oh, I'm really sorry, like, I didn't mean it that way, then that's fine. Like, it's just, it's a misunderstanding. As long as they didn't mean it like maliciously, then I don't think that there'd be like any problem.
Yeah, and you can still feel, I think it's still okay to be hurt by what they said, because obviously just because they said, oh, I didn't mean it like that, doesn't mean what they said is going to go away. but it's just that you're understanding that what they said wasn't meant maliciously and wasn't meant to make you feel upset.
I think that you'll know when a friend is a good friend when you don't even have to think about it. Just be open, be kind, have a mutual trust there, and if there is something wrong, then acknowledge that there's something wrong and try and sort it out. And if you can't sort it out, then move on kindly rather than creating an argument.
Yeah, and especially if you're like they're a true friend as well, and you've got an argument as well, like you'll overcome that, and it won't.
People that come into your life are the people that should be there at that time. So I think that every person that you're friends with, even if you're not friends with them in later years, then you still learn from them.
Even if it was like a toxic friend or like something, you had arguments all the time and stuff, but that taught you that isn't right for the future, so you don't make that same thing.
You kind of learn what you deserve in a friend. You have trust, kindness, I've written it down, support and reliability.
Definitely.
It doesn't have to be incredibly final. You don't have to say, I don't want to be friends with you anymore, block, kind of something like that. You can just you can filter out their behaviour, and I suppose, and you can filter out how much you speak to them and how much you see them.
It's that one person has decided, I don't think you're the right friend, and then they drift. That's when that more happens than two people, because you both don't decide, let's drift apart. That's not how it works.
Right, okay, let's sign a contract and drift apart. Thank you very much for joining me.
No problem, anytime.
Very great. If anyone has questions about anything, I suppose, then comment them. And if you like, if you don't like, then that's okay.
That's the end.